On July 7th of this year, I traveled from my home in Naples to Tampa to visit the Florida Aquarium. We found giant anemones that cling to any hard surface and zap prey with stinging cells on their tentacles. I saw my first ever toadfish, along with some slate pencil urchins. I also saw some giant lobsters who were bigger than my hand. Of course, I couldn't hold them, but I can imagine. My field trip did not really change my perception of our local marine environment, just because I really already knew the basics. I was more just moved in my perception by how many interesting looking creatures we had in our waters. In this part of the aquarium, we saw some blue tang, doctorfish, and ocean surgeonfish. This is the picture I decided to make a sketch of. One marine primary producer was the seagrass. Seagrass is important to its ecosystem because it is a primary food source for the fellow sea life. A practical example of the concept of evolution came up when I learned about garden eels. There are these groups of eels that make themselves look like blades of grass so they can eat drifting plankton that pass by. The most significant concept that I learned during my field trip was that if there was a shortage of males, any female parrotfish would change into a male for a few days. That was such a noteworthy concept because of how unusual it was to learn. This is the picture I decided to do my sketch on for the moon jellies. I picked the moon jelly because this was the one marine animal that stood out to me the most. I just think they're very cool and are so amazing to look at, especially up close and personal. They're important to its environment, its oceanic food chain, which makes them important. I really enjoyed my trip to the Florida Aquarium. I hope that my video not only interests you, but also makes you want to go. It was a great experience.